The government's decision not to enforce a court ruling ordering the release of Samanyolu Broadcasting Group CEO Hidayet Karaca and 63 police officers and chiefs who were arrested in government-backed operations last year has been slammed by a number of jurists, who consider it an intervention into the judiciary. On Saturday, the Istanbul 29th Criminal Court of First Instance ruled for the recusal of the judge overseeing the case and handed the case over to the 32nd Criminal Court of First Instance, after which the Second Court ruled for the release of Karaca and the arrested members of the police force. However, upon pressure from the governing Justice and Development Party, AK Party, the Ministry of Justice and the Supreme Board of Judges and Prosecutors, HSYK, the Istanbul Chief Prosecutor's Office defied the court's decision to release Karaca and the officers pending trial on Sunday, casting doubts on judicial independence. Karaca, who was detained on December 14, 2014, just 3 days before the first anniversary of the massive corruption investigations of December 17, 2013, has been held in Silivri prison for months without any indictment, which would elaborate on the accusations leveled against him. Although Article 138 of the Constitution says no institution, individual, or body can pressure judges and prosecutors, the decision not to enforce the court's verdict for the release of Karaca following the government crackdown on the courts has marked an obvious violation of laws concerning judicial independency and the Constitution, those jurists commented. They also pointed out that no prosecutor has the right to not implement a court ruling, according to the law, reacting to the prosecutors who opposed the verdict to release Karaca and the police officers. SDDK Filies, a lawyer representing the officers who are under arrest, wrote on Twitter, "The prosecutor is officially involved in a crime for not implementing the release order." Another lawyer representing the defendants commented in a tweet, saying, "This is a shame. A prosecutor is not authorized to override a court decision." Meanwhile, Ömer Kavalai, another lawyer following the trial at the Istanbul courthouse, told Sahan that he had searched for other prosecutors on night duty but none were present in their offices. "We are going to press charges over this. We are here to identify the setbacks caused to our colleagues in the implementation of the release order. The Istanbul Bar Association will continue to defend the law and we won't compromise," Kavalai added. Kemal Simsek, one of the lawyers of the police officers who were arrested and held in Silivri prison on trumped-up charges of illegal wiretapping and spying in a government-orchestrated investigation that began on July 22, 2014, also announced on Twitter that the same court ruled for the release of the jailed police officers. Another lawyer, Durmus Turman, also raised his concerns regarding the non-implementation of the court decision, saying, "The prosecutor has no authority not to put his or her signature on the ruling issued by a court since he has no judicial discretion over the implementation of the verdict. Prosecutors have to do what the law requires on the matter. What that prosecutor had to do was to sign the writ issued by the court. The process is just a bureaucratic procedure which does not allow acting contrary to the court's verdict. I did not face such an arbitrary violation of the law in even the 1980s after the military toppled a democratically elected government in a coup. It is a stain on our judiciary's name. Even the coup generals did not disregard the judiciary's rulings at such a large scale. Resisting the court's ruling implies a constitutional offense." Fadanati Doğan, one of the lawyers representing Karaca and the police officers, also highlighted that they tried to make contact with the prosecutor over the issue but were told he was not at the courthouse. "Upon this, we demanded a minute detailing the situation, but our request was rejected. We were also accused of committing an offense, but when we asked about the content of the crime in response, no answer was given to us. However, the prosecutor has no authority to decide on the continuation of detention in opposition to a court ruling," Doğan said. Bar Selik, who is representing one of the arrested police officers, stressed that a baby of his client Mehmet Kuru came into the world days ago, and that he cannot be deprived the right to see his baby in line with the court's decision to release him. "The judge's ruling to release those arrested made us happy since it proved that there are still independent judges who make decisions of their own free will," he added. Sami Karahan, a professor of law from Marmara University, posted a message on Twitter on Sunday condemning the National Judicial Network Project, UYAP, being closed, thereby preventing the ruling to release Karaca and the officers from being added to the system, and went on to state, "This is an obvious scandal, a shame. What does it mean to create a crisis center at the courthouse to block Karaca and the officers from being released in line with the court's order? The Constitution has been trampled on with the prosecutor defying to sign the verdict. Only criminal courts of first instance can rule to release those arrested. Asserting the contrary is against the law and illogical. They are being held in prison arbitrarily and based on a feeling of revenge. I am positive justice will be done sooner or later. A prison administration which does not apply a court's ruling is fined for depriving the individuals in question of their freedom. Court rulings are binding on anyone from an individual to the president. Those who refuse to act in compliance with court rulings are obviously committing an offense as they are violating the Constitution." Speaking to today's Zaman, lawyer Fikret Duran also criticized former Justice Minister Bekir Bozdağ and AK Party Deputy Burhan Kuzu for calling the HSYK to launch an investigation into the judge who ruled to release Karaca and the police officers, defining it as a clear instance of meddling in the judiciary.